shine your light into this world. It's so important that we shine light into the darkness. This morning, I want to talk about it because we went into it and we got to talk about abusive behavior. This morning is not an easy subject. A lot of people would rather just melancholy go through life and pretend that everything's okay, but it turns out that it's not all okay. And that's why we don't act okay. And when we don't act okay, we tend to stay in a realm that's not okay. And I want everybody to be okay. So this morning we're going to talk about being addicted to abuse. I am a victim and a perpetrator, and I want to end the cycle. This morning we're going to talk about a difficult subject that always makes me cry as soon as I talk about it. So somebody cue the intro. It's not easy to talk about abuse. Feeling like life is taking advantage of you or not giving you a fair shake. It feels a lot like that. It feels like I shouldn't have been beaten and I shouldn't have beaten other people. And as I look out into the world of other people that pull toxic shit, including male and female toxicity, I realize that it's because we're reacting to a situation in ourselves that we don't really know much about. We don't really know why we learn the behavior the way that we do. It's easy to say modeling or, I'm modeling the behavior that was taught to me. What's really interesting is that, I'll take a case in point, my brother, I've experimented with drugs. It's called Saints Addiction for a reason. I've experimented with a lot of different drugs to find myself and hide from myself. But my brother Jeremy never touched it once. And I thought, wow, that's amazing, right? That's amazing that coming from a bipolar mother and an alcoholic father, you think that, right, you'd be a fuck up. Now, I've fucked up a lot in my life. I'm a mistake master. But what I also was doing was I was extra beating myself over it. That was the continuation of abuse that gave me some reprieve this morning. Was an aha moment. Was as long as I believe it, it will be the scenario. If I believe that I don't deserve love, if I believe that I'm supposed to lead by fear, if I believe in these things, then this is what I'll get. I'll get my loneliness, which I've fully achieved. I've pushed people away that really did love me. And I've also continued to beat myself. And I think that was the biggest abuse moment as an aha moment, is to stop the abuse, is to stop abusing myself. Part of that means not being perfect, right? I don't have all the money. I'm not as successful at business as I would like to be, and I do make mistakes. I'm being nice on myself right now because I'm being live on the YouTube. It's a lot harder inside my head. It's not as nice, and it's not as complimentary or as calm. Instead, what ends up happening, the reason I smoke weed, is it becomes very loud. It wakes me up in the morning. The disaster of an abortion has made me look at my life as all the things that I've missed or fucked up on. The cycle in my brain isn't going to things that I was so successful at. Instead, what it started to do was focus on the things of lack. Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? And when I start getting into that position, that start a thought process, I literally give up all my energy to anything that's positive to the future or anything that would be helpful. And I give it away to what I don't have. So instead of looking around for supplies, I literally look for demerits. And I think that's not a very survivable situation. What was the name of the... Well, anyway, I just watched a special on Moby Dick. And turns out there was a real angry whale that didn't like the whalers coming at them. And this whale, coming really fast, took its head and hit, bam, as hard as it could, inside of this fucking ship. Now, these boys probably weren't prepared for this, but they're about to be starved out and thirsty in the water. I don't know of a lot of situations where I have to eat my friends or become a cannibal, but there are some situations that squeeze us past our human form. There are going to be some tough days. I've gone through those tough days. So did those sailors. Some of them went back into the ocean and kept whaling and kept wasting their gas. Like this guy, he thinks he's getting ahead with his gas in his truck being loud, and really he's just dropping his gas mileage, and his ego has to take it at the pump. This is a lot of like what's going on with us, right? We think that we're getting up on somebody by destroying them or ruining their reputation or throwing shade, as they call it in the streets. And what ends up happening is we end up shading ourselves, right? We end up shading ourselves from the possibility of awesome. We end up living in a world where we start believing in revenge and hate and anger, right? Because it happened to us. That's what happens to abuse. We fear that it will happen again. And in a weird way, we'll react in a way that was very similar to the way that we were abused. It's a vicious cycle. And to break this cycle, guys like me have to talk about it. It's not easy to talk about. I have a lot of friends with a lot of issues, as they grow up or talk to me or they're going through it. Why am I arguing with my wife? What's happening to my life? Why am I the way that I am? The truth is that it's a learned behavior. That's awesome. And people go, why is that awesome? Because that means you can learn a different behavior. So you can unlearn a behavior as much as you've learned a behavior. The thing is having a healthy mind teaches us that it's all part of our behavior, right? It's not just either or, black and white. It's both. It's the combination that gives us the lesson. It's the combination of duality in our lives that it's not going to always be awesome. Sometimes you're going to be shipwrecked. What's really the sad part is that 7 billion people on this planet and we're still killing each other. We're killing babies through abortion and we're not living in love. That's scary to me. That was scary to me. It shook me to my core and I felt evil inside. I felt darkness. And this morning I finally let my brain get some reprieve and I said, are you done yet? Are you done being abusive to yourself? Are you done bitching yourself over the head? I'm going to cry a little more because I'm hurt, right? I'm hurt inside. I made a big mistake, the biggest mistake of my life, or as this my brain or my will or my thoughts want to believe it. Losing a child's huge for my life. You know, um, Making mistakes that keep coming back and hurting others and not learning from them would be even a bigger mistake. So what I wanted to do was stop the hurt, right? I mean, everybody's like, yeah, no more pain. Not like that. Stop the extra hurt that I'm giving myself from the pain. Like beating myself is going to stop it from happening. You know, it's not going to stop uh, tragedies from happening. It's not going to stop shipwrecks or Kobe Bryant helicopters from falling out of the sky. That's not how that works. Unfortunately, that's not how our lives work. So we're all going to have to do this and do that and make it in our lives. But what we don't have to do is keep beating ourselves in the head. There's a certain amount of, I don't want to know, Catholic guilt or something to that effect where we get addicted to the misery. We feel like if we don't repent or smack ourselves on the back like a bad Catholic, from all the guilt, from all the sins, we forget that nobody's perfect. So now all of a sudden, something that was just a minor mistake becomes something that bugs you for the rest of your life. The one turn you took at the gas station and all of a sudden you're in a car wreck, or at the last light you went and go and the other person was drunk. Life happens at us. I remember the lady that lost her leg. She got out of a car accident and a car slid into her. She was so furious. She wanted to beat this man. He's like, you ruined my life. And then she started to look at him. The truth is, his whole life dismantled. He got divorced. He went through depression, like all these things because he accidentally slid into her car and he accidentally took out her legs. It wasn't like he was twisting his mustache. He was just the next car in line to get into the pile up. But that's what happens. These things pile up on us, and we'll tend to still live in that pile up as if we did it on purpose. And I think that's what we think is happening, that the other person that did this to us, or life that did this to us, that it did it on purpose. Like it was twisting his mustache to make us unhappy. It's a very bad perspective. It almost insinuates like the universe isn't conspiring in your favor, which it is. All these things are happening not just to you, it happens to all of us. And that's what I loved about writing it. I think we'll go another 5 minutes because I just got this rolled. was I? Oh, the Catholic guilt of that we deserve to be punished. That punishment is the way to teach something or make it stop or make it not happen. It turns out it's very natural to have anger. It's very natural to have regret. It's very natural to have fear. This is going to be a part of life. I need a lighter so I can smoke with you guys. I thought I grabbed one, but that's life. And if we get mad at it, which I used to do openly, I'm admitting it. I used to beat myself up like I'm supposed to be perfect, like I'm supposed to be married already and have children. And then I saw my buddy post it and he said father and son. And I thought he would post it in a very regretful, I would have made a good father type post. That's what I would have posted, you know. Instead, he said not only did he will be a good father, but he was happy for his friend for being a good father. That he had that experience and that he got a chance to witness it. I see that, you know. Wishing people well isn't exactly something we do. We get very jealous. We go like, well, that person, that monkey has the grape that I want. And if I constantly look at what I don't have, which is really a sick disease, sickening disease, jealousy is a sickening disease, then that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the lack instead of the gain. We're not going to look at all the things that we have around us. Instead, we count about all the things that are missing. And it's like that game, you know, the highlights magazine. What's not matching here? No, I don't have a car that's matching my neighbor. So therefore, I'm going to solicit myself into years of hard work and debt consolidation or whatever we do, so that way we can reach this fake level that we're all competing on, you know. And I wanted to talk about it because it's so deep that we aren't like that, you know. We don't have to be that way. So what we have to do is not have to do, but what we can choose to do is focus on what we have, right? Like that's not going to be easy. But what I talked to myself this morning, and it gave me a little bit, is I said, be nice to yourself. Okay? I made a mistake. I'm very sorry. You know, I thought the abortion was so cynical and so unrealistic that you could undo a mistake. Like, oh, I stole from wherever, you know what I mean? I stole from the bank. Oh, I'm going to prison now. I don't want that consequence. So let me undo it. You can't abort a prison sentence, right? You do the crime. You got to do the time, and that's what it felt like to me. It's like you'd had the sex, right? You had it unprotected, and you knew months, weeks, you know, like what was going on, and to be able to snap your fingers and just because you're angry or want to control me or change your life must be nice to kill a life so you could change your life. I'm shocked by it. I was just like, wow. I wish my consequences did work that way. Shit, I had sex 6 months ago. Can I abort the baby now? No, you already planted your seed. You already did the deed. Yeah, and that's what we used to call it. You already did the deed. So these are the things that go on in my mind to not let myself beat myself up. You know, there's a lot of abuse going on. There's an addiction to I need to feel the sorrow. I need to feel the pain. I need to feel all the things that are so negative. I need to hold them close like this hoodie around my head. And I felt as if that cathartic behavior was going to make it better. I didn't want to ignore it. I didn't want to start celebrating my life. I love my life and pretend everything just went by because, well, I missed an opportunity to have a child. It's not what we're going to do. That doesn't make sense to me or my brain or my soul. But it also doesn't make sense for me to hold it on forever. That I could hold a mistake. One moment in my life, like I said, like running a red light too soon or not paying attention on my cell phone or letting a 3-year-old child go over a waterfall. She's a beautiful kid. I can't imagine. I'm dying inside because I didn't even make my child to its first breath. It's supposed to take his first breath around my birthday. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. And I know it sounds rude to say that. Even in my thing, like, what are you talking about? Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Is it the fact that they're what if I didn't put my child into the near the waterfall? My child would never have gone over. What if I never argued with my girl at that Pacific Ocean? My child would be born right now. What if I never made a mistake in my life? Then I wouldn't be living. And I wouldn't be trying. And it's the very act of attempting and trying that makes me strong. right? Because most people get taught by failure. They get taught by, oh shit, well, it didn't work. Oh shit, like my ex. Oh shit, it's gonna end up like my ex. Oh shit, I'm gonna think the worst, and therefore I'm gonna predict it and make it so. There's our mind. Literally assuming the worst, beating ourselves over the head, being abusive. And that's what I meant by the addiction of abuse, is that we tend to hold that stuff as if somebody needs a punishment, as if someone deserves to hurt as much as us. Instead of ending suffering and taking it easy on ourselves and others, we pile it on. I'm stressed. You got to know about it. The bill's due. No, 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 no. Not even a good morning, just criticism. I had that happen through with a friend of mine. I said, how's that helpful? How's that help me in any way? How does that, oh, it's kind of far, your summer weed festival? Yeah, doesn't change it from being far. Alaska's still in the north. You know, you can bitch at Alaska. Man, you're so far away. Damn it, why are you so far away, Alaska? It's not going to change Alaska from being far away. So it's just this thought in my mind this morning. Mark my words. My friends told me to call this show now. Mark my words, that you are increasingly destroying your happiness by the thought process, right? The ability to just keep whipping yourselves. It's not enough to have a prison sentence. I've been in prison, right? It's not enough to just try to have the time over the person's head. It's the rehabilitation. It's the ability to rehabilitate the person to get their thoughts and their lives back. It's not a very healthy system. They don't feed you right. They don't encourage you right. There's no encouragement. It's a very dark, deep place there. So I admonish prison systems. Like, as if you're going to punish somebody into submission. It doesn't work. I try to force my lover into having a baby. I'm going to force you with all my might and all my fight, make you do something you don't want to do. It didn't work. It's like a mule. Stubborn ass, lazy ass, I'm not going nowhere mule. And that's what we are. We're all a bunch of stubborn ass mules. We're a bunch of jackasses. And it's a jackass move to keep abusing ourselves and expecting it to fucking do better. That's why I'm having this conversation this morning. That we can hold on to the things that didn't work out in our lives and go through the list of, oh, I didn't ride my bike faster as a kid, or I shouldn't have broke my arm when I was 12, or how about that guy I broke up with and he broke my heart when I was in high school or junior high. We can go, I'm trying to talk for women and men, you know, we can go point for point for point of all the points that were missed. But the point is to not count the points that were missed, but to count that you are still counting. The fact that there is still an opportunity. Just because this woman doesn't want to have my child and commit abortion doesn't mean the next woman's going to do the same, Mark. And I had to get a reality check to myself. Just because I made a mistake once, months ago, it's changed the fucking course of my life. I keep beating myself up like a lot of us do. And that's the continuation of abuse. I don't want to be hit anymore, and I don't want to hit anybody else. I did learn how to handle conflict properly. I was taught by might versus right, and it wasn't right. The way I treated her wasn't right. I'm very regretful of this. Very regretful for doing it to my siblings, other love relationships, the people that I'm closest to and love me the most. I've been the worst too. So I think a lot of people get this message this morning. It's a long message. We're in on it. We'll probably go a fucking full half hour, but it needs to be said about being addicted to our emotions and being addicted. I was addicted to anger. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel superior. But I'm just as fragile as everyone else. I'm just as human, just like Dana White says. Everybody in here is human. This is who's trying harder, who's being nicer to themselves. If this was a competitive game, like I kept saying, the GOAT or the Ghost, the greatest human of all time, you know, the super GOAT, is somebody that can talk to themselves nicely and others. Everybody wanted me to talk nice. The truth is that I was being hard on myself. So if I'm being hard on myself, then that means I'm going to be hard on you. And that means I took that out on my best friends and my girlfriend, or now my ex-girlfriend, or all my relationships. And I pushed it to the limit, including myself. You know, I pushed this heart of mine, even with heart pains, to go further than ever before. And I realized I have to relax. With less than a week to my birthday and the biggest festival I've ever thrown. I've never thrown a 5-day festival before in my life. Summer, weed, holler. With all that going down, I have to realize I gotta enjoy the process. I don't get to stay in Thailand forever. And if I count the days instead of making the days count, right? Days go by and I miss the moment. Like Songkran right now in Thailand, it's a water festival. I missed the moment because I was too busy chasing my Russian girlfriend. I was too busy making sure all my other friends were this and my other shit was busted up, and it spun me out of control. It's the first time I ever had a panic attack. Things aren't perfect. I need to say it out loud. Perfectly imperfect. I don't have the perfect life. I've done some really cool things, but I've also made some really bad mistakes. And that's par for the course. It's like, what am I gonna do? Keep beating myself up for the course that I didn't get a birdie, eagle, and a fucking hole in one? Nobody else did. Just I was telling my friend, where's the logo? No one else's logo's on here. So we're literally exposing ourselves and our egos and our ability to want for perfection. That we all want everyone to like us, and we all want to look perfect on social media, but that's not the truth. The truth is that some of us get broken. Life can break us. Like I said earlier in the show, to the extent that you're gnawing on your buddies, these guys were so delusional. By the time they were found, they attacked their saviors. Like they were gnawing on these pieces and trying to protect the bones that they've been chewing on. I haven't been in a scenario like that. I haven't been 83 days out in sea with no fucking water and no food. All of us would act that way. All of us are human. All of us make mistakes. It's so unreal that we expect perfection. We look at people like these perfect, like The Rock or Kim Kardashian, like they're so beautiful, they're so muscular. They got motherfucking problems too. The Rock started with $7, and this chick just divorced her husband of four. What the fuck's going on here? You want their lives? Their lives is a chaos too. But we like to think, I think that's the religious belief that there's more heaven than hell. I'm calling it for real. Saint's addiction was that it's all of us. All of us have something that we grab that coffee, grab that cigarette, grab that tobacco, and it moves us. It moves us in a direction that we think is happy. And what I realized this morning was it wasn't making me any happier by beating myself over the head with the same scenario. It wasn't going to change my child's life and bring them back to life. The woman committed abortion and killed a baby. I didn't help. Like I was her worst nightmare instead of her dream. How many women have been their nightmare instead of their dream and started off as their dream? How many of you can admit that? How many of you can admit the sunshine shine of the glory of love and what do they call that? Teenage love, that first love? And then it wears off. And now it doesn't hit the same like a drug. Yo, where's my hit? I need you to make me happy. You, give me my hit. Look, it's up to you. That was the realizing I create happiness, the biggest richness of it all was realizing I can be happy without money. I can be happy without fake love. I can be happy without fake products. I can be happy without someone telling me how to be happy. And one of the biggest things that I could do to be happy was not only just being gratitude and accountable and all those cliches and all those buzzwords, but what it really was. And I'm going to put this out here. This is why I'm going long this morning. You're getting a half hour of shine. Normally I'm 10 minutes and I'm out, but it's so important to say because I realized I was being addicted to anger and it was putting me in a cycle of things that made me get burnt up. Like I had to live off of something to beat, something to conquer, something to win. And instead of negotiating or diplomacy or evenness, I went full on fucking Spaniard and wanted to conquistador everything. It's like burning the boats, It's like I expected no return. And I literally painted myself in a corner of just perfection and only dominance and only winning was left. So it's not many to choose from. There's more emotions than that. There's more to life than that. And that's what I had to realize, especially this morning when I beat myself up still every morning like I do, that I don't have to. I don't have to beat myself up. I don't have to be the guy that keeps reliving the mistake. I can create my new future. I can create my now moment. And that's what was aha to me. Because I was like, the scenario isn't changing, right? I'm not going to change the outcome by worrying about it. And I'm definitely not doing myself any mental favors by beating myself up over about it. So, I'm going to probably always regret this. Like I just kind of in my soul? No, doesn't make it change the outcome, and doesn't mean I deserve to lose today for something that happened yesterday. And that was a huge aha moment for me. Huge aha moment was that I was ruining my future by living in my past. And I know a lot of people say that in cliche moments. My fucking phone's blowing up because this event's blowing up. But I wanted this message to go out there to all the people. With less than a week to me throwing the biggest festival of my life and doing things that I'd never done before, I had to do something really big, huge, in fact, because I had to get over something really huge, like losing my child, my firstborn child, fucking the seventh. I'm Francis Mark St. Arnaud the sixth, bro. This was supposed to be Francis St. Arnaud the seventh, bro. It was lucky number seven. My grandmother's seven. I can go on with you, and you can go on with you. And if we start to ruminate, if we start to cycle, if we start to go on and on and on, then that's when we get back onto the abuse train. Like I kept going on and on and on with my anger. I didn't want to stop. Everything had to be beat and bloodied before I could stop. And then everything was beat and bloodied. Hulk smashed to death. And no one was going to trust me anymore because they had seen my dark side. Not that they didn't have a dark side, and not that they didn't initiate me, but the fact that I was allowing my dark side to be so vicious, right? So apparent, so exposed. And that's something that I think we all need to have a conversation with ourselves. I saw it the other day. I was at the gas pump, and dad's frustrated, high gas prices, too many kids in the car's not working right. I get it, bro. It's not where you want your life to be. But don't beat up your current life because your life's not where, or your children either. That was another thing. Are you guys really putting that stuff on the ground? I can hear him. He's frustrated. And he's taking it out on his kids and his wife and his team and his morale and everything else that has to be with being destructive and not productive. And that's why I was saying is this, like, destruction is not productive. It's counterproductive. It's only going to make us do worse things, like run to the booze, or run to over sexing, or whatever else we do to dodge what we really feel inside, instead of going talking to that person and say, hey man, I know I'm a dick, or a woman, I know I can be a bitch. I'm human. Human over robot. And I'm valuable. I'm mistake riddled. I am not like these deities we pretend to be. I am not like this evil that can be inside me either. I'm both. I can be holy and shit. And then sometimes it's holy shit. So this is the dichotomy that we live in. And I was just thought, I always try to use my best words to reach human beings and translate very thick subjects like this. The real question is, are you done beating yourself up? That's it. You're done beating up your friends or your loved ones around you. And when I had to close my eyes and think of the three things I loved the most after that TED Talk, it wasn't my wallet. It wasn't the things that I was obsessed on. It wasn't all the things that I had lost. It was different. It was actually about the things that I cared for the most and start put energy towards it. So now when my mom's talking to me, I put my motherfucking phone down so I can have that moment with her, because I know I'm going to miss her when she dies. And I'll be beating myself up because I was on my phone over something stupid I don't remember, posting to someone stupid I don't even remember, and I lost the moment because of Facebook or a tweet or whatever the fuck else I sacrificed for something else I didn't want to sacrifice. So I want you to implore you people out there for this 30 minutes to shine to stop sacrificing your joy. Stop putting it up on the fucking cross and just put nails into your own hands. Your hands need to be free to make a new future. And so does your mind. So it was so important to clear our souls and be that kind of person that was just like, okay, I am the things that are my past and my regrets and the shame, but I'm also this hope in this future and this life that I still have, because I'm still here and I'm still strong and I'm still breathing. So that let me know I'm in the game. So the way we play the game is our attitudes and how we treat ourselves and our minds. And that's why I didn't want people to continue to abuse themselves and say abusive things, and that's Saint's addiction. All my heart from the start this morning. I hope this reaches you. Let me get my hand underneath this thing. Just feel that bump up. You know what I mean? Get that bump up. And now you got Saint's addiction. I'm gonna cue the intro and let these guys birth some dinosaurs. And I'm gonna keep smoking my blunt and have a deeper thought with myself and release myself of mental slavery and negative thoughts and give myself some reprieve and some bless you and some blessings. We're supposed to believe in blessings over stressing. Yes, most of us will be caught just stressing. It's one of the hardest things to do, to focus on what you have and what, unless you don't. Our brains aren't wired that way. This is going to be mental Jedi training to be able to switch it. That's why I called it Saint's Addiction. I had to switch my addictions to something saintly and to turn a negative into a positive. I had to find it within myself. And the old self would just sleep and overeat and overworry and overthink and just wait and not do anything, which is almost dead to rights, right? Like the guys floating around in the fucking Pacific Ocean lost on the sauce. Yeah, they're lost. And they're about to be really lost when they get separated and start eating each other. That shit really happened. Like I was like, whoa, what the fuck, Mark? Moby Dick story? What the fuck? That's how Moby Dick, the real story happened? Wow. You really don't know, suffering on that level. None of us in the 21st century know it. But the eons of suffering made me not feel so alone. And I didn't want other people to suffer either, so that made me want to start talking to people more gentle. And I also want to be successful, so I don't want to have disruptions. Do I still bump egos and heads with other people? Yeah, I'm pretty determined. I got plans. I'm not a follower, so that's gonna happen. Do I mean ill will to people? No, I don't. I just call it how I see it sometimes, and they call it how they see it sometimes. And hopefully we can see it the same. Hopefully we can play nice in the sandbox. Because we were in the sandbox at first. At first we were kids. At first we were playing nice, and then somehow down the line we decided to stop playing nice. So I got to get into this game. I'd love to sit here and talk with you the whole time. But I really wanted to get this thought off my mind. This isn't just a show, but this is an education. This is a master class in emotional stability. Mental health matters, and we need to take it as such. So go grab your mind, have a good conversation with it. Don't suggest shaking it, and I don't suggest drowning it, but I do suggest stilling it, and not distilling it, but stilling it, keeping our mind still enough to not have our phone to separate out our concentration, which I've also learned because it takes so much longer to click back up to concentration level. That's why we look like robots and zombies when we're on our phones. We're just too concentrated. And in that concentration, we can't split concentration. So we have to allocate attention. And that's very important. And then I realized that I was allocating my attention to what could have been and should have been, instead of what could be and should be now. So it was just that power of now, leaving it in my past and in my head. It wasn't very helpful. I'm not letting it pay for rent for free. Am I absolved of my sins? No, I am not a victim anymore. I perpetrated my conditions. Am I mad about them? Yeah, I'm very disappointed in myself, extremely. I could have been a better best friend. I could have been a better husband, a father, human, all those things. But then I'm saying it, I said, that makes me a good person in itself. I don't even want to try, Like, I know a lot of people are just assholes and they don't even give a fuck. That's toxic too. So it's like we have to watch our toxicity to ourselves and to others. There's an addiction to abuse here, where we're allowed to say how we want to feel to Alexa. Alexa, you dumb bitch, clock, 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 because she's not a real person and it's not going to hurt her feelings. But our children heard us say that to them. Our children and our friends watch us do road rage, and then we expose ourselves. We try yellow to get ourselves on makeup, pretend that we're something that we're not, that we have more money than we do, that our shit's more put together than it is, and we start buying things to impress other people that we don't even know. And then it's a weird cycle. I think that's a Will Smith quote. We still shouldn't be slapping people. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to lose our cool. And as soon as I lost my cool, I paid a heavy price. You only paid 10 years of an Academy Award slap on the wrist because you got money and you're rich. I paid with my child's life. It's killing me inside. Like, how big of a deal that what I was hoping for, what I thought was my future, or should be my future, right? Then that's when we start getting mad again. right? We start living inside of ourselves like, you're mad because the wheel didn't spin in your favor. Should I be pissed too? Being in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, I don't want to be in my own skin. I didn't want to be in my own prison. I remember when the doors closed, I tried to pretend like I was water and go underneath the prison door. Or maybe I'm sand. Maybe I can become particulates and just go through. The truth is this is my human form, and I couldn't go through the prison cells. My body was captured. My mind was captured inside my body, and my body was captured inside of a cell. That's what was happening. So if it's just me, if it's my mind captured, hear this out for somebody that's been in prison, South Korean prison, endure. Learn this from Nelson Mandela, that he can make his own reality inside prison. That the guards associated him with respect because he treated them with respect. You didn't see a man that was in prison. You saw a man that was inside of his body. And that's so huge to me to translate this morning. I've been almost going a whole hour to explain this one thing, that when we are in a way, right, we call that in the streets being in a way or in our own way, we'll classify things as a feeling and hold them dear. We'll make that grade A meat, grade A stress. And once we start concentrating on the stress, we miss all the good cuts of the meat. We miss the awesome moments, or we pollute the new moments. And you know what I'm saying? It's part of cleaning meat too. You got to get out the guts and the gizzards so it doesn't pollute the other meat. Same with fruit. Same with thoughts. And that was so huge this morning. It's like I don't get to absolve myself. It's not a magic wand. I'm like, okay, you were 10 Hail Marys away from being better and you can commit more adultery. I didn't mean that. I meant the behavior. The behaviors is the apology. The changed behavior is the best apology ever, will ever be. And it feels like, unfortunately, some of these people don't get to enjoy that because they still stay toxic and they still stay in anger. So it's just like shit. And then they're always going to feel like they don't win. I remember that from R.I.P. Mr. Old Man Dave. He said, "I never win anything." I'm like, that's not the attitude. You know, like, you got an apartment here that lets you be all old and grow weed in it. That's a win. You didn't count that as a win, but that's a win. And because your mind doesn't count that way, your mind now stays at bay. It stays unhappy. It stays afloat, aloft, like those dudes in their fucking boat. So no, I don't want to turn into a cannibal and kill off my friends so I can eat their lung, liver, and fucking heart. What I really need and really want is for us to all communicate and make it. That's going to be some sacrifice. There's going to be a lot of us in pain, a lot of us hungry, a lot of us thirsty, a lot of us needy. Then that's why we should give. With supplies, we make it. When we're supplied and thinking healthy and in the right direction, all of a sudden, we made it to the moon and back to Mars. Let's go. If we don't, then we go to the depths of our souls. We go to the depths of hells, and that's not exactly functioning either. So that's why I had that conversation this morning. It's like, what really works? And like when I went to the BU seminar, the real question isn't right or wrong. It wasn't that. It was, does it work for you? Is it working for you? Then don't listen to me. If it's working for you, keep doing it. But if it starts affecting your loved ones, like it did me, if it starts affecting your productivity, like it did me, you know, it takes 5 times as much to make a new customer than piss off the original customer, Mark. I just was horrible at it. I was too emotional. And also, I wasn't as aware as I am now, you know, sweating the last play instead of concentrating on the next. I'm going to miss some throws, bro. I think it's worth to be said. I think a lot of quarterbacks come out and they're supposed to be perfect. I'm going to be missing some throws, bro. And that's okay. What's not okay is to keep beating yourself over the head over the same play. And that's where I wanted to share this morning was give yourself some reprieve. It's not just a bungalow in Brazil. It's an abuse towards our mind, and to stop being abusive to ourselves. That means harming ourselves mentally, physically, or spiritually. Okay, so a lot of us are sacrificing our spirituality because we need to make money. We'll go get a job in a casino. There goes our spirituality. We'll sacrifice our bodies. We won't eat right. We'll start fucking swallowing whatever. Me, I'm a sugar slut. I know what it is. Just to feel better. It's like the only way my brain works. And sugar. Like, fuck, man. So, the last two addictions, breaking them one by one, and abuse is another one. So, it's going to be really hard to stop the abuse. I was raised up by abuse. I feel the pain in it now. I feel it. I'm going to keep going along because this needs to be said. Learning about it through TED Talks and all the YouTube videos, it was so interesting that that's what these people are expressing. Even now, as you see people with mental disorders or drug abuse, you are seeing abuse being exposed. You're not just seeing an addiction. No, you're seeing a scream, a cry for help, somebody wanting their brain to work for them and feel that certain type of way. It's not that it's the drug. That's what people keep confusing addictions with. It's the feeling. It's the feeling that I don't want to feel that way anymore. And choose that feeling. And that's all they're doing. They're going up to a goddamn soda machine, go boop, 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 Sprite. We've all heard the machine drop our feelings right in front of us. Cool. Give me some sugar. That shit's horrible for you. Let's put it in the schools. Let's get them addicted early. I'm addicted to it. The feeling. Like I almost have to kiss it every night. I lose a lot of weight when I don't do that. When I'm like in my mode and trying to throw festivals, it's into not eat or eat the wrong things. Like when I'm selling cars, just grab a donut, go sell a car, go make money. That's not healthy. That's what we're always talking about, Saints addictions, mental health. So my mental health is way better. I can actually start enjoying my birthday instead of counting down what would have been the birth of my son and doing that to myself. I can almost cry. And I will. I'll cry some more. It's part of grief. It's part of grief. Some days I'm doing really good. Starting to feel like I'm coming out of it. The last 2 days, not so much. Um, it's life. I'm going to have to get used to it. You're going to have to get used to it. This is part of it. The game has not just ups but downs. We have to find a way to rise up. And that's why I say rise and shine, because you have to find the rise to shine. You know what I mean? You got to actually pick yourself up off your habits and your thoughts. And this morning was one of those days. That's why you're getting an hour or 45 minutes of my time, because it was so shocking to me how long I was abusing myself and my thoughts. I was just keep whipping myself. And the sorrow, and it's cathartic. It's almost deserving and needed and sadomasochistic. Like I was feeling better by hurting myself more, or I was doing something good by the pain. Like I was sacrificed. I was crucifying myself. What a symbolism. What a weird thing to do, too. The Catholic guilt's real. No more guilt. The fastest way for me to be feeling better, honestly, is to know that I'm human. I was just like, okay, that helps. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to, brush my hair in the morning and something to perfection. Everything has to be perfect and put on some fake eyelashes. I know people like that. I wish they would live a real life. They wish that you thought that they lived a real life. It doesn't work that way. All we're doing is pretending to the people that believe in fake. It only works to the people that like fake boobs, bro. If you like a fake titties and a fake figure, that's your life. You're gonna always want that and ride this poor woman into fakehood and plastic into her body. I didn't want that. Sorry, not sorry. Like it's just not what I wanted. I wanted something real. And I had real. And then I squandered that too. I brought my fear to my real. Has anybody ever else done that? Right. So if I can bring some love to my real and start having a love reel and start popping off the things that I love, remember that I'm grateful to be alive and that it feels good to smell that morning fresh air. I was starting to lose those things, and then I was bummed out that I was losing those things. So it was right back to the depression. I have a shirt that says Depression Survivor. I don't know if I have to get a shirt that says Depression Repeater. But for all those, this is the reach back. I've always been able to reach back or do the motivation. Holler if you hear me. It motivate people to see their own brain and see their thoughts and see themselves, right? To see yourself with real lenses, some kind of concentration, some sort of synapse, something here, something of consciousness, because our subconscious is powerful too. So, I was having a conversation with my subconscious this morning in some sort of meditative state where it kept waking me up because I didn't have my baby, and it was like scaring me, right? Like the child going over the waterfall, and I thought, Man, I can't even imagine. I have to say it because I can't even imagine. I don't want you to keep imagining either. I'm talking about almost irreplaceable mistakes. I thought mine was the worst. You beat me. So you ain't got my sympathy and my empathy. It lets me know that I'm still alive and I still care for life and I still want my life to be awesome and other people's lives to be awesome and I want to be part of the awesome plan versus this other shitty shit that's out there, how rare air that is. So for us that need the hope, we need some hope over dope. We need real hope. A way to start seeing things clearer, right? You're not your mistakes. And you are enough. You're not a production robot that's on performance. And I think everybody's on their performance. How much money did I make today? How many people did you make smile today? Now, this is going to sound, Mark, you sound like a fucking hippie on weed. No, I'm asking you for your quality of life. Is your quality of life determined by a number on a screen? I ask you. I'm more than that, man. I could live off of no money. I've done it, bro. I'm not my fucking money. And neither are you. As soon as you get in a car accident, bam, are you thinking, there goes my 70 grand? No, you're like, my fucking leg. Yeah, in a minute. Where's my parents? Are my children alive? That's what I fucking realized. That close your eyes. What three things do you love? She asked the most important question. Are you loving them? It's like, shit, man. No, I'm over here loving the dollar. I'm over here chasing a fucking number. My child's in front of me. I can't chase that time. And that's what this is. So this is precious time for me, giving you 10 minutes of shine is now an hour. I haven't done an hour show in a hot minute, but it needed to be said because it was a really good moment to be like, how long are you going to beat yourself up over your mistakes? How long are you going to let a mistake dictate the next play of anything you do? And that's huge because we learn the behavior, we learn to quit, we learn that life is hard, and then we learn that if we try hard, that there'll be big risk, big rewards, big disasters too. Welcome to the human life. I was just like, yeah, there it is. 1 minute you're in your crane wars, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of out there that's like, that's shameful. That's not how human civilization should be. And we get it in the news because it's the blues. We get it. It bleeds. If it bleeds, it leads. It's right there in front of our face to sensationalize us. And I just wanted to put the phone down and just watch the sky. Nothing was on fire. Just paint blue skies. You know? And as I puff clouds and add to the clouds and get my energy to go out there and get the posters out there to all the dispensaries and smoke shops and all the people I haven't seen in a while. I put my energy out there and it gives me energy back. A kind of energy that makes me feel alive again and loving my life again versus the one that's counting with how much gas is or what's wrong with the car. Does that make sense? And therefore I get to live a happier existence, and you can too. I want you to live a happier existence. That's why I'm doing the show for this full hour. I'm gonna have to cut it short, but I gotta go. I gotta get in my life, and you're gonna have to get into your life too. And the faster way you can get back into your life is getting back into our minds and saying, yo, I'm not my last play. I make mistakes, and that's okay. No one does not make mistakes. Even the most perfect fucking players were out there. Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas, bro. Upset of the century. Why? Because it's gonna be your day one day, and it's not gonna be your day one day. Okay. Do you still have today? Sure do. Are you gonna squander it for yesterday? Yeah, no. And that's what I want to leave you with, because this is what happened. I forgot it the other day, but this is one of my wisest words. But the girl said, have you guys ever felt like you're just completely falling apart? I screenshot it and I'll show you. And everything's not right. You're a shit show. And all the girls are, yes, honey, I'm so sorry. They're trying to chime in, give digital sympathy. And I said, yes, all of us Most of us call it yesterday. And the reason I said most of us is because some people don't get a tomorrow. That's a fact too. So it's like, whoa, shit. Mark, you're talking about death? Have to. That's part of the grief. It's not all people things get to live. Even you are like a 1 in 4 trillion, I think the lady said. The numbers and the odds just to be born, 4 trillion. My child didn't make that 4 trillion. I thought I had a kid to save the planet. The unthinkable happened. And I'm sure it's happened to other people too. You're in Ukraine and you see all these baby carriages empty, you know something's getting fucked up. And then you also get choose to believe in something like a brighter future, a better tomorrow, using that energy and angst. That's what I've been learning on these shows, and put it towards something. There's energy in anger, there's energy in depression, there's energy like in us, right? We're the battery, like the Matrix. What do we do with that energy? That was the big aha moment. It was like, fuck, man, I'm spending this on some not rejuvenating like your brakes, to rejuvenate the battery. It was more of a retardation, and I was losing the energy. I wasn't collecting it and utilizing it and storing it for later. I was wasting it. Reliving the past, watching that movie again. How many of you guys have binge watched movies? I think I watched Tom Hanks fucking, what's the movie called, so many fucking times, like 11 times, dude. So my thoughts, like 11 million times. And if that's like a computer, you can see the data. You can see it like the data. And you just go, how much of my data am I going to spend on this? And there's only so many gigabytes, right? Everybody's probably filled up their computer with photos and videos already, right? And you're trying to store all this stuff in a cloud or on an external hard drive or whatever it is. But the storage is inside of our hearts. To be able to rejuvenate this. This is the little pump I was talking about earlier. Made me thank it for pumping. And thank you for breathing. And thank you for having a system that allows me to see, touch, feel, and taste. And this whole world's out there to see. See it with me. Please see it with new eyes, see it with a new soul, see it with a new light, and just give yourself a reprieve. Say sorry to yourself for constantly beating yourself up. And this is not just a soft speech. I'm serious. Say sorry to yourself. You owe yourself an apology. You owe yourself an apology for fucking doing that shit. It's so counterproductive and so abusive. And that's what's the conversation about, being addicted to abuse. And that's what we did. We have found a way in our lives where maybe we're controlling someone or keeping them under our thumb or under our rule or under our mood. And I'm guilty of it too. Did it to my siblings, my mom, my lovers. Like, fuck. The chance of a lifetime. Fuck. Shit. Shit. Fuck. So let's not keep saying fuck, right? We got the world of knowledge inside of our hands. The only ones we haven't done is inside of our hearts. It's really hard to have it inside of our minds. I think that's the true stability right there. I think that's the true success. If somebody's been wearing success on his wrist for some time, that it almost wore out the fucking word success. True success, I think, is emotional stability. I think you will shock and awe people, and I'm sure of it because I've shocked and awed motherfuckers too. I've been recording. Maybe I should end this with a recording. You know what? It was a good recording. Normally, I do not record anyone's conversation. Actually, not normally, like 99.9% of the time. But this time, what had happened was I've got quite a few compliments, and I knew I was going to compliment because my friend called me, and then the phone dropped the phone call, right? And I kind of hung up. He's like, "Yo, I want to get something off my chest." Click. I was like, "Oh shit, what a time to say that, right? Fuck, get something off your chest. What is he about to say?" It was a compliment. So let me just grab the recording because I did it on my other phone. And sometimes the low lows, the depression, sometimes the high highs, the compliments, it comes in stride. But I wanted to leave you with this because it was a very moving message. But this is how I feel. I'm not a very religious person, very spiritual person, but I wouldn't call myself religious. But this person said something of religious content. How about that? And here's what happened was.
you ask yourself, what is it that they really want and what their true intention is. All right. So I had a chance to look at that video you sent me. I only got a few minutes to look at it because I caught up in a lot of the drama. But my man, brother, amen, praise the Lord. You keep on doing what you're doing, my brother. Because I had no idea that you were doing all these different things across the world, getting individuals, to be in the right state of mind and be in the right location where they can cleanse their spirit. Yes. And where they can get rid of those addictions.
Yes, blessed.
All right. So my praise is to you and my praise is to God. Oh. Because, with that being said, there's an old country gospel song. And it says this: if you can use anything, Lord, use me. All right, brother?
Thank you.
Have a blessed day, and I'm honored to call you a friend.
Thank you. Right on, man. So, use me as a source of knowledge. Use me as a tool. Say it to the skies. Say it to your friends. Be of service. You can be of service, dude. I'm telling you, man, it'll fucking change the world. Because then we become altruistic. We stop being selfish and narcissistic. It's the opposite. It's the way, right? It's this way. And when we make it this way about others, like I want you to feel good by the time I'm done talking to you. I want you to feel better and smiling. Super saint mode, bro. Super saintly. So that's more than mostly saints. That's Saint's brand. That's the highest of the high, as they say, the highest of the high. And you guys can smoke this whole blunt with me for a whole hour. That's the level I'm talking about. To be of service to people, where you are making their day. But more than that, here stop sharing suffering. And that's the end of the abuse cycle, is that you don't want the other person to hurt anymore. And I want my love to hear that. She's hurting from it. I want my dad to hear that, because he's hurting from it. I don't even know how to tell my dad. It's very personal. So, I'm human, and I'm still alive. So are you. So with that, we gotta make some human moves, and go make some human mistakes, and go make some human achievements at the same motherfucking time in the same motherfucking trip. So this life is a trip. It's almost my birthday. I'm a week out, and I'm blessed and honored to call this my life. I wasn't feeling that for a hot minute. I was feeling like it should be XYZ. No, I read my buddy's post, and he too said, I bet I would have made a great dad. No, I make a great dad. Just not right now. And stop saying bad things to yourself. And bad things to other people. That would be even fucking better. And when I get a second and I get off this show, I can talk to you guys further, but it's been an hour and my phone's already blowing up. So I gotta go. But that was the point of today. Stop being addicted to abuse. Grab that heart, feel it, be loving to it, be loving to yourself. Stop abusing yourself, stop abusing others. You'll feel it, you'll feel better. This is to stop the slavery, stop the abuse, stop the self-whipping. You'll feel better. Stop the denial, stop the lies, stop the hurt. The things that we tell ourselves inside of our brains and to others. You'll feel better more than they will feel better. It's even more for like a selfish reason. It's altruism. It's for all of us. It's egalitarianism. It's all of us, right? So all of us being happy, all of us having emotional stability, all of us having love, none of us being lonely. It should be impossible with 7 billion people, but here we are. I've been out here a whole hour by myself. It's time to change that. Time to change the way we think. Time to change the way we live. And time to change. What does Tupac say? Go get up, Tupac. Get my show. So, all by the art from the third. It's your boy Marky Say. Peace of love. And as always, Jigatha. That means goodbye, but not forever and fiendish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, subscribe, and shine. Ciao. Saints addiction, baby.